if you really want to do a story expansion, do a real story expansion, because this one feels like a demo of the characters. Most of the best cutscene were all shown in the trailer, because there are not that many. Hello there, I'm Dejan, and welcome to a new video. So I let the things sink in a bit for a couple of days. I was working, so I was thinking about the whole update of the game, the 1.08, the balance patch, and especially what I was thinking a lot and I was trying to contemplate a lot was the unforgotten echoes, or as I'm calling them, the very forgettable echoes. And that's what I'm gonna talk about in this very quick video. So this new DLC dropped and it was free for all. It was a free-to-play expansion to the main story that I think is not getting criticized as much as the game itself, but is a bit left there on the side for two main reasons. The first being that it's free, so, well, you cannot complain that much about the content. Kind of not agree on that, but... And the second one being that, well, all the other things that 1.08 released, and the tweet and everything, and the game Magic Gate, or call it as you want, basically took the stage over that. So, no one is speaking about the DLC and actually how bad it actually is. So the DLC is a one chapter, is like a set of, I don't know, it's probably around 10 battles, 12 battles, I didn't count them, but it lasts an hour. Okay, which is honestly already, it's a quite decent length for something that is given for free. And the quality of the cutscene and the realization is actually okay, you know, especially the Heihachi ones are really good. But what is missing actually is the substance itself, the plot and the content. So it's divided in three parts, and one takes place, and in each one of those you control one of the characters, being Eddie, Lydia, and Heihachi. Let's straight up say that the Eddie part is the worst by far. It's awful. It doesn't have any story into it. The only things that they add to Eddie's story is basically that now he reconciliate with Jin. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. This is just a longer broth of the usually stupid ass ending that you get into the character episodes. Okay, this is just a longer one. There is nothing happening. It's very dull. It's very silly. It wants to be the kind of heroic anime character with all the soldiers that go to him as the old leader that he is, and they clap their hands and everything. But it's like, it doesn't act as a funny character. It doesn't act as a serious one. It's kind of in between, and it just looks weird. So that's the most awful part. It's honestly horrible. It's horrible. I don't even know how to describe it. But then we get to the kind of better part, if better you can say. The Lydia part, where basically she gets picked by this TEKKEN monk to help Heihachi achieve his full potential, to achieve his final Mishima technique. It's actually okay. It fits the character. It fits Lydia. Is actually acceptable. Okay, that's probably the best part of the DLC in my opinion. When, you know, she meets with Reina, see Reina having this kind of this double personality, very shifting between the two, which starts to make you question. Probably that's the best take you can have on the story. That's kind of Reina's attitude makes you question if she's actually acting like this, or she's actually, there is something really like this, like a double personality into her. Because like Kazuya used to have one of those in the past before merging in Tekken 4 with the devil. That's probably the best pick I had out of the whole DLC. Reina, I thought something about Reina that is there just for one match and that's it, and she goes away. And then Lydia gets picked up. They go by the Mishima monks, and they basically tell her, they let her face like a shadow form of Kazuya, and eventually when you shift to Heihachi's part, you discover that Heihachi is still alive. He lost his memory, and he has to basically ascend as this better martial artist to then overtake this challenge which recurs every 200 years of an asteroid crush it into Earth, and he has to destroy it to achieve the Supreme Mishima technique. Okay. And that's it. There is the retcon that everyone is complaining about, obviously, which is Heihachi that gets saved by a monk jumping while Kazuya is staring down to him. Which is, yeah, it's as well, it's very, it doesn't hold together. Tekken story has never been super solid, but now this time is very crumbling apart. Even because I did a 30 minutes video on Heihachi about all his lore, which you should definitely check out. That's probably the hardest video I've ever done. And all the build up that there was in Tekken 7 about Heihachi's death and everything was the best part of the story. Because Tekken 7 story as well wasn't that great because the low budget. But all the build up that they've done, it was actually great. The ending of Tekken 7 story was actually the best part, especially between Kazuya and Heihachi. The fight it was nice. It was very dramatic. It was very well done. It was very, the rhythm of the cutscene was great, and just bringing him back like this just takes everything away from that. And then, yeah, you bring Heihachi back, he destroyed these asteroids, and guess what? He comes back, he gains his memory back, because he lost his memory, so he gains his memory back and comes back to be just Heihachi. So everything that was Tekken 7, just shovel it down the sink. Nothing absolutely happened, apart Akuma being the game and being completely as well removable. So, yeah, I think that what the Tekken team did wrong is mainly two things. The first one wanted to do such a kind of high, expensive production value story to release for free, and this basically had to shrink as much as you can the production of it and deliver something that at the end of the day, apart from the fights, which are great, the story fights in Tekken are always great, but it wasn't necessary to be so, try to make it so big, but then make it such a small package because it has to be free and is understandable. And because of that, the story becomes kind of lame and empty, and really the only kind of things you can get out is something about what in the story is a side character and is not really working. It's just generally lackluster in my opinion. What instead Bandai could have done way better is either, and now I know a lot of people is gonna kill me on this, but listen to me. You make a bigger expansion. When you make it a bit more choral and you put a couple of elements that everyone is expecting to see a story about in Tekken 8, but you basically ignored, into the story. Okay, you explain a bit more about Reina, you put her a bit more into the DLC. You explain a bit more about June and you try to squeeze her in as well, somehow. Because you can, you squeeze in every fucking one in the game. You can squeeze those two in the DLC. And then maybe you charge something for the DLC. Not just you charge something just for the DLC, you charge something for the state, but you try to make a package that is nicer to receive and people would like to buy. You know, imagine story expansion DLC, €5, €10, €7, stage included. That's way better marketing than whatever you're doing already. But if you really want to do a story expansion, do a real story expansion, because this one feels like a demo of the characters. Most of the best cutscenes were all shown in the trailer, because there are not that many. No, really. So that's one of the roads you could have taken. You didn't want to take that road because for once you were thinking about the backlashing you were getting out of the monetization. Do something more like character episodes. Okay? You put like maybe a longer ending or a couple of cutscenes extra because it's Heihachi. Maybe only for Heihachi. But do some text explanation, maybe with some dialogues, you know, acted dialogues with the voice actors. But like this, you get to explain more, and you can create a better story than just a monk that saves Heihachi randomly, and then you just shovel all the old story into the toilet. These already, in my opinion, are way better ideas. Now, to get to the hot topic as well, about Heihachi just going back to be Heihachi. Like that for me was where everything dropped. Which I knew it was going to happen by when I was playing the game. I was hoping it would not happen. The fact that you see Heihachi that he's lost his memory, and it sounds so cute, it's adorable. It's like, it sounds like a warm grandpa for once, you know, and he's nice, and he's like almost like it was going to become like he sounded like the old Jinpachi, which I think it would not work just to have him being good as well, because he's Heihachi, he's equal to Kazuya as villain. So the roads that I think, in my opinion, Bandai could have done is just have him lost his memory, but with flashes or like he has throughout the campaign, but just kept him in this stage, maybe heavily, kind of have him kind of break into two. Okay, so that would have been an interesting take of Heihachi, because now again we are into the same of, we got a story, but for no reason. It's just like the story feels like a demo or a massive trailer of the new characters of the DLC. That's it. Nothing more. Having Heihachi breaking in two, it feels like something more added to it, you know? Like of Heihachi is this good guy, this monk style, and as well, and he's very calm. And then suddenly, sometimes even in his outro and in his intros, you can have this kind of damaged personality, damaged memories, feelings that you see everywhere, and it would be very much a cliche that we saw times over times over times, but it would work way better than something like this, and that would have been a way to go, which still would have been a bit of backlash because, again, Tekken 7 doesn't exist, but at least there is something. Another road you could have taken is like the Kazumi road, okay? Just explore components of the game, of the story that you never very much get into that, like Heihachi training Jin when he was a kid. We just know that he did, but we never seen anything of that apart in the anime from Netflix. Just explore that part of the story and bring Heihachi back as a memory as Kazumi used to be. Because Kazumi was never alive in the game, he was always been in the flashbacks. Just bring him back like that, and people will still be happy because Heihachi is still alive, and people will still be happy because the best ending of a Tekken game will still be full of his value, and still be the best ending in a Tekken game. And honestly, that's it, there is not much else to say. So if you want to know more about Heihachi and actually how his story was, please check out this video, because I put a lot of love into that and I really think it's very valuable. But apart from that, you have been awesome, I've been Nejan, and I'll see you next time. Ciao!